picture of maybe a set of friends. You have 5 friends. You try to take a photo, and one person is going to be blinking, someone's looking away. This app will solve that problem completely. So, like Bill was talking about, there's some amazing technology in your phone. One of which is the camera. So back in June, I had this idea that maybe I could develop something that would utilize this amazing camera in our pockets to take a perfect group photo every time. So what the app really does is it analyzes everyone's face in the photo. It'll then go and it'll look for everyone's individual set of eyes and smiles, so that when everyone is looking at the camera and smiling at the same time, it'll automatically take a single perfect shot. And it actually works really, really cool, and it's almost 100% effective each time. So we got 50,000 downloads in 4 days, which was a great start. We just launched it about 3 weeks ago. It's free. It's been featured by Apple in 17 countries on the homepage of the App Store. And it's getting really outstanding reviews. It's currently 5 stars in the App Store. And it's also been featured by Fast Company, who calls it a mind-boggling, simple mobile app uses technology to solve an age-old problem. So that was great. And then finally, Apple's VP of software, he told us we're doing some real great work with this. So I'd love to give you guys a demo. I have my phone here. Yeah,
I think we need to change the source.
Okay.
No, probably PC. Yeah.
All right. So here it is on the home screen. It's just a perfect shot. So I'm going to test it on myself first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up to my face, and if it all works well, this is actually the first time I'm trying it through a projector. If it all works well, the second I smile, it'll automatically take a perfect picture. There you go. So these are a bunch of test pictures I've done. Now let's go a bit more in depth. So this time I'm going to close my eyes. And obviously I'm not going to be able to see, so if anything does go wrong, tell me. I'm going to close my eyes, and then the second I open my eyes when I'm smiling, it'll take a picture. Oh, wait, hold on a sec.
Nice.
So anyone actually, maybe we can get like 2 people to come up and try it. Does anyone want to volunteer? Not a group this big. I actually tried it on a group of 15. It's actually pretty insane.
Come on, Karen.
Karen,
Two.
What I did was I had like 3 people close their eyes, 3 people smile, 3 people just not smile, and then when everyone is in the perfect situation, it ends up taking a perfect picture. So the issue is, when I'm doing this as a demo, I always ask people to not smile, and they start like laughing. So that it never works out. But I'm going to try it. So you guys need to not smile at first. I will.
Angry face.
So, now smile. There we go. So yeah, it's a really neat app. It's free in the App Store. You can go get it. It's called Perfect Shot. Let me just switch this back real quick.
First page.
Already did.
All right, yeah, so hope you like the demo. If you have any questions, I am John Meyer. I'm a crazy entrepreneurial app developer. That's actually what my business card says. So once again, it's a super exciting app, and we're actually already well into our next creation, which we're actually we're entering the game market with something really, really cool and something that hasn't been done at all before, and I hope to have it released by Christmas time. So definitely look out for that. Thank you.
So I know that Core Image has like face detection. Are you guys using that?
So yeah, it actually, what we do is we go through sort of like an order of operations, all of which occurs in obviously like less than half a second. So what the app does is it first will detect, using that stuff, it'll detect everyone's face. So it kind of counts up how many faces it detects, so it can know how many set of eyes and smiles to look for. And then once that happens, I ended up working really closely with Apple at the developer conference to really get some really advanced detection stuff built in, which obviously later turned out to be this eye and smile detection that we're using.
So it's kind of your own.
Yeah, it's like a combination of both.
Yeah.
And they worked out well together.
I got a question on that. So in 4 days, 50,000 downloads. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to sort of that you feel comfortable revealing to people here as to what may have been, some of the key ways that you were able to get that type of?
Oh yeah. So what actually happened was we like I said, we just launched this thing, and I actually launched it as a paid app, so it was $1, and it was up for about a week. And then one day, I think it was like a Wednesday, I said, why not just make it free for a day? Let's see what happens. So I flipped the switch, made it free, and then in 24 hours, it ends up getting 18,000 downloads. It was posted on a few sites, and that's all without any of my own promotion. So, it's something where, I've developed a ton of apps over the past few years, and, each one has had, its own success or its own failure. And this app is something where, a lot of people can relate to it, but also, when someone's using it, they immediately want to share it with their friends. So that's also what I believe could have contributed to that quite a bit. I guess you obviously did.
How many people on the team?
For this app in particular, it was just me, one other my engineers, and a designer. But my team in my company is currently 3 people right now.
Okay. You're not an engineer.
I can do my own fair share of programming, but I'm nowhere near your hardcore engineer
So
that
you
can
had
sit.
someone, it wasn't, you didn't come, you someone else.
I worked with someone to code this, so I developed this, and I programmed it with another developer. So
Okay.
it just
And
teamed up.
then one designer.
And then one designer, yeah.
And TAP has 3 at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
How many of those developers? Is it one developer?
It's 2
one
developers, 1 designer.
So now that you made this free, are you gonna try and monetize it at all?
Yeah. So like I said, we did it that one day about 2 weeks ago. We made it free for a day. The next day we put it back on paid. The same time I quickly jumbled some time together, and as fast as possible I submitted an update to the App Store, which pretty much reversed the revenue model. So obviously now it's free, but we're generating revenue off of an occasional ad that you'll see. So we use Apple's iAd platform, which is real great. And then we also have an in-app purchase that will allow you to get more advanced detection as well as remove the ads, which quite a few people will want to do.
That's interesting. So when you made it free, was that actually, did you define like a 24-hour period?
Yeah. So I just set it just free for just 24 hours.
So one thing Apple was talking about last week at one of the tech talks, which I think is kind of interesting, is they said make it free for 3 days. Because by the time, so first off, the day starts in Australia.
Yeah.
Right? And so by the time it comes back around, it's actually 3 days. So if you want to make your app free for a day, really set it for 3 days, and that way in each region.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. This was a bit of an exception just because I definitely thought that it would be more successful free, but for normal situations, what happens when you have a paid app and you go to Apple's iTunes Connect, which is what's used to monitor all this stuff, and let's say you decide to make it free for a day, you have all these app tracking websites that will detect this change in the store, and they will end up posting this. So initially you get a huge surge of people downloading your free app, which could lead you to believe that it's a huge success free, when it's really just this initial surge. So that's also why it's very important to maybe wait a few days to see if it's real organic downloads that you're getting.
This is a very emotional app.
Yeah.
What about unhappy
Ideally it's for situations when you want everyone to smile. But yeah.
Not for funerals.
To be photographed too.
So curious about the app. So the two developers are both iOS.
Yeah, all iOS. I have experimented myself with Android in the past, but for now, I haven't really wanted to get into it just because of just so much more complexity just in the things other than programming and having to worry about all these different devices, and also the fact that Android developers are nowhere near the amount of revenue generating potential as iOS currently.
They're full time on tap, or do they?
Yeah, full time.
And you guys do.
So to give you a bit of an idea, we have the full-time developers, but then when we're working on a big project, we'll take in 1 or 2 more people, or maybe even I have a buddy in Egypt that would actually help me out. So at its peak, we could have 5 people working on a project.
Do you take contract work?
I've tried it once or twice, but I really just don't like it, to be honest.
So
I
you work
love
for your own project?
Yeah, I love just creating my own things.
And you've been able to sustain revenue for
Yeah,
your wages with your own apps.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've met quite a bit of developers who really want to be in that position, and they're stuck doing this, in their case, boring contract work that they don't want to do because these are developers that just love creating their own things, yet they're stuck doing this just to sustain their company. But I've sort of put together over the years a recipe for sustainability in the App Store. And I mean, if you want to talk to me afterwards about some of the things I've learned over the course of years,
That's just
yeah,
really
definitely.
impressive.
Thank you.
Did you guys build your own facial recognition tech for the photo app, or did you use somebody else's?
So yeah, that's what I was sort of getting into before. We were starting to build our own, just completely, just our own facial recognition stuff. And this was literally just the week of Apple's developer conference in June. So at this conference, you got the chance to talk with all their engineers. So I talked with them, and they had ended up agreeing to help me out a bit. And they're actually building, they probably have it in beta now, but they're actually building a public API for this. So you're going to be able to, in a much easier manner, add this sort of technology to your app if you wanted to. Just the basic detection stuff. And obviously it's up to you to do whatever you want with that.
So the previous question, so you have 35 apps, right?
Yeah, over 40 now.
Well, 40.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you set like a hard limit, like we're only going to spend a month, or we're only going to spend 2 months, or like depending on the project?
Not a time limit. What I do is I go through a set of almost like filters. So what I will never do is I'll never, just what my preference is, I never will develop an app that is a complete niche product. I like creating something that applies to everyone, or at least almost everyone. So theoretically, if you wanted to, you can get into any app we create. Theoretically, can be used by millions of people rather than just a few people. So those are the main restrictions that I have.
The time is like.
Yeah, the time. I mean, if it's something crazy like
Yeah.
2 years, maybe we won't do it. But it's a combination of time and the potential of the app. So.
Have you licensed any of your apps to anyone?
Not yet. It's something we are totally open to do if the opportunity presents itself.
How long did it take you to develop this one?
So, like I said, we started in June. The hardest part was just getting the initial detection stuff set. So we had it mostly done by August, and then the rest of August was just spent doing bug fixes, and then we got it in the store the week iOS 7 launched. So I guess the beginning of September.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Tom. So Tom is, or otherwise known as Lauren, will be talking
Lauren
about
couldn't be here.
Rap Genius.